お茶会は淑女の必修科目さ。お茶会における礼儀作法を学びたいなら僕が教えてあげよう。
影を借り尽くす。報道裁きを受けてこい。
料理の時間。黒き翼よ。
そうて。潔白を証明すると。投降しろ。
話が通じないなら叩く。影のカラスが。
射撃準備。それ。悪を極め影を借り尽くす。報道裁きを受けてこい。
師匠の技を食らいなさい。
邪悪を借り撃つ。投降しろ。
話が通じないなら叩くま。夜の権限。
影を撃つ。潔白を証明すると。報道裁きを受けてこい。
熱々でしょ。黒き翼よ。
射撃準備。邪悪を借り撃つ。
風の神よ。
わ
風の赴くままにお道は知ら。
潔白を証明すると。影を撃つ。
雲が借りなく時
邪悪を借り撃つ。
じゃじゃーん、世界の熱狂の渦に。
風の神よ、
風雲の行くごと
潔白を証明すると。風よ、私に応えるのだ。はっ、
それ
射撃準備。邪悪を借り撃つ。
お道は散らまく惜しみ風の行く先を
蒼天。
Hey, what's up, Shuri? It's the weekend already. Although Friday just started for me. Well, yes. Anyway, Friday still feels like a weekend, right? Because, alright. This was something that came to mind when I was, like, a long time ago. When I was still working a Monday, a 9 to 5. Well, not necessarily 9 to 5, but a Monday to Friday job. At some point along the way, I thought to myself, okay, it feels terrible that we only have 2 days off a week. But then I realized, wait, I already feel energized on Thursday because I'm excited because it'll be Friday the next day. And then Friday still feels energized because I also know that it'll be the weekend the next day. So it's more like I have 4 days of not being very tired, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's Friday, basically a weekend already, right? Hey, what's up, wrong person? How you doing, man? How's your day?
座
歌え僕の山本にフォークを叩くシャルロットが鼓動します。
もみちらを散らまく惜しみ
Still have another hour and 30 minutes. Recorded class to do. Recorded class? Basically watching a video, right? Missed one lesson last week for chemistry. I see. Okay. Well, if it's a recorded class, I mean, does not mean you can do it anytime. Anytime before the deadline.
Yup.
風の中雲の行くごと
世界を熱狂の渦にじゃじゃーん特ダネよ瑠璃のように落ちなさいお触り禁止部外者禁止お触り禁止ついていきます。
もみちが散らまく惜しみか
光り輝くがいいフォークを抱え史上この仕事は排除するべきですね。へいはっやっ
Oops.
はっ相関化粧
His next lesson for chemistry is tomorrow? Oh, so tomorrow... Okay, so anytime before... Yeah, still. So it's a yes, because I said anytime before the deadline, but the deadline's tomorrow, so... You have to do it ASAP. Well, good luck, man. An hour and a half? Jeez. Oh, if it's on YouTube, why don't you just play it back at ×2 speed? Ooh, melt team. Do I have a proper melt team? My best melt team is very single target focused. Ida burn melt. This is a very much a multi-wave type of thing. Okay, I guess I could do... Okay, sure. Alright, we'll just do this then. Just whatever. They're not very tanky enemies anyway. Yeah, sure. Nahida burn. Yeah, but it's multi-wave. That means I'm gonna have to keep swapping back to Nahida, waiting for her E to cool down. I still need to do my Clorinde and Sigewinne quests. I mean, you know, Clorinde and Sigewinne aren't going anywhere. Anyway, good to see you again, Chokoshu. How was your week, man? Need to process the info. Also, it's not on YouTube. Right. Understandable. Had to finish it today, but I'm procrastinating it to 11 p.m. Usually slow and pause it a lot because there's so much information. That's true. I do remember, like, I've always been a science enthusiast, even in my younger years, but chemistry was just some other beast for me, man. Naming all those elements and stuff, I couldn't. And I still can't. Why can't I hit these dudes?
世話り禁止。久々の獲物だ。
I
高よ
missed.
写真を起こせ。
You missed. How could you miss? He was 3 feet in front of you. Any millennials in chat? Any millennials in chat will probably know that reference. Where that reference is from. Melt. Also melt. Alright. Also very... Okay. Very multi-wave content, but... I get to have fun. Sure, alright, so who are we gonna use? Someone... No, a lot of cryo. Let's get a lot of cryo. Kaya doesn't have the right sword on. Okay. You, and you. Yeah. I haven't used Diona in forever. Oh hey, what's up, Blob? How you doing, man? Does Dia work too for Ganyu Melt? Dia does work, but so Ganyu's charged attacks. Like if you just spam them as fast as you can. That is basically one bloom shot every 2-ish seconds. But Dia's skill procs can only happen once every 2.5 seconds. So it does work, but you'd have to wait. You can't throw out Ganyu's bloom shots as fast as possible like we want to. You would have to, okay, bloom shot and then fully charge and then wait a little bit and then let it go and then wait a little bit and then let it go. So you'd have to be waiting for Dia's 2.5 second thing. And you know, in practice, like if you think about her kit, right? She provides damage mitigation, she provides resistance to interruption. She should have been perfect for Ganyu Melt. She should have been perfect for Ganyu Melt. But then they just had to ruin everyone's fun and give us the 2.5 second, like, I guess it's a cooldown thing for her E-procs. If they hadn't done that, or if they'd made that even shorter, like just a little bit shorter, like, I don't know, like every 1.8 seconds, right? Or as fast as Raiden Shoguns, but then like just reduce the multiplier, then Dia would have been perfect for Ganyu Melt. But no. They just couldn't do it. Absolutely detest chemistry. I remember chemistry being like... I'm finally starting to get it. And then I put my answer down. And then our answers get checked in the test. And then I'm like, oh, that wasn't it? I thought that was it. Like, I really thought that was it. And then I start thinking again, okay, no, I'm never gonna get this, and then I accept it. And then a couple classes down the line, about a week down the line, I start thinking, oh, I'm finally getting it. And then we have a test, and I'm like, yeah, alright, this is gonna be awesome. I finally know. And then the answers get checked, and then I realize, alright, well, that was absolutely wrong. I did not get it at all. This is awful. I should have just gone with Gone. This is terrible. Oh my god. Okay, can we even see this build? Like, what is their trial character build? I don't think they're gonna show us the stats. That's just... horrible. What a horrible build. Why would you give us that horrible build? Those weren't even the tankier enemies. The tankier enemies were in the previous stage. Arlecchino with the Bond of Life set is insane. I got her 71, 200. Fine. Attack's got more damage than a 4-piece Glad. Yeah, of course, because it's 4-piece Glad only gets you like around 35. Yeah, 35 normal attack damage, whereas the Bond of Life set can get you up to like 50-ish something. 50 something. So yes, it's quite a bit better. Why did they give us these? Oh my god. 100k. Oh. Those mutatrils. They got sent to the afterlife, and then they got sent to the afterlife of the afterlife, and then the afterlife of the afterlife of the afterlife. You did the event's easiest level because all I care about are primos. I mean, you know, like there's a certain time you should also care about these things, right? Like especially in the early-ish game to mid-game, because like you're gonna need a ton of these things, especially Mora as well, XP books. But yeah, I do understand. On my Asia account, I just did it on the middle one. Like I don't know what the middle one is called, but highest character level on that account is just level 60, and the highest level weapon is also level 60. So yeah, I'm certainly not gonna be completing the hardest difficulty on that thing. Furina and Lightning Alhaitham in one temple. What? How did you get two characters in the same temple who aren't even on the same banner? Or are you saying within 10 pulls of each other? Is that what you're saying? Compared to Attack Goblet, Pyre Goblet is the same, so I just pick one with the best crit ratio. Yeah, because she gets quite a bit of damage percent already. I mean, no, she gets a lot of crit rate, I guess, but yeah, that's sort of typically been the thing, like for a very long time now. I mean, sure, back then, even before characters like Furina, like, you know, before we got a lot of damage percent buffs in the game from other characters, from new supports in the game, from new supports in the game, from artifacts that give us a lot of damage percent. Before all of that, like way back then, the old days, even back then, an attack goblet was still perfectly viable. But that was like the gap was a little bigger then. If you had a damage percent goblet but no useful substats on it, and you had a, I don't know, like maybe a copium attack percent goblet, then those two would be about as good as each other. But if you had a pretty good attack percent goblet with a no correct substats damage percent goblet, then your attack goblet would be better. The gap was a little more obvious back then, but nowadays the gap is quite small. The gap is quite small that nowadays you'd have like your your damage percent goblet would have to be absolutely zero substats, and your attack goblet would have to be like 45 CV for your attack goblet to be clearly better than your damage percent goblet. Yeah, the gap has certainly gotten a lot smaller. Archon hits normally without buffs for 49k, for 49k with bond and life set. I really can't tell how much damage my Clorinde is doing because like there's so many numbers on the screen. I just haven't bothered looking at how much damage she's doing. And that goes the same for like many of the new characters. I did not mean to do that. Many of the newer characters that I've gotten and the team archetypes, like Alhaitham, for example, right? Like he's not the type that shows me big. He's the type that shows me a lot of small numbers. So I just sort of, I've just gone by feeling for a long time now. Like how I would like try it out with my typical teams where I can actually see the damage, and then I would play on like the new character that I can't see the damage on, and then I would try to like look at the timer maybe in Abyss, or I would feel it out like how many rotations I could get through the same amount of content. Yeah, for me I still prefer I understand like the Bond of Life set is like quite a bit better. Not by that much, but like, you know, also not an insignificant amount better. But I still prefer Thundering Fury because I like it that I don't like having nothing to do with it. Like for example, if I'm running a team that has a pretty short rotation. No, pretty long rotation, right? Like I don't know, like a team with Furina. Very often I find myself having to wait for Clorinde's skill to cool down. Yeah, and I hate that feeling. I hate that feeling that I've already started everybody else's rotations, and then like Clorinde's hasn't even started yet. RJ, think about it. Lightning Alhaitham. Oh, Lightning Alhaitham. But we have two Lightning Alhaithams now. No. Oh, Alhaitham. Oh, I get it now. But Clorinde's also very similar, right? Like to Alhaitham. Okay, so I know Kaching's has more of the bzz, 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 bzz kind of burst, and Clorinde's is more like a instead of a just properly different. But it's kind of similar. But hey, that's pretty cool. Did you? So was it like? Were you on 50-50? Or like you won 50, you lost 50-50 and got your guaranteed, or was it like you won 50-50, and then you lost 50-50, but then now you're on guaranteed, which I think you also had a follow-up message earlier. No, I'm guaranteed. Okay, so yeah, you got your 5-star and then you lost 50-50 and now you're on guaranteed. That's awesome. Congrats, Blob. Isn't Lightning Alhaitham Kaching? Right, I just realized my Filipino friend taught me some Filipino words to impress my boss. If Filipino, one day. Wait, your boss is Filipino? Same problem, but I feel like my Clorinde deals more damage than my Nivelette. That's how I feel. Well, it depends on the team. Well, yeah, it really depends on the team. I don't think my Clorinde deals more damage than my Nivelette. Like, just alone, no team, just raw, their own personal raw DPS. I think my Nivelette still out DPS is my Clorinde. But I think it's just the teams. Like, Clorinde's teams, like some of her highest DPS teams, like, they typically have Nahida in it. They typically have Fischl in it. And they typically have Furina in it. So, like, just those three characters are already, like, they already out DPS, like, basically, like, 85% of the teams in the game. So, I mean, I'm not saying Clorinde's getting carried, but she's certainly pulling her own weight in that team, but she's also not the majority of the DPS in that team. And for quite some time, I was really disappointed in my Nivelette. Until I tried out this team recently, where it's such a simple team, and like I've never really just been able to like fully utilize it until this current Abyss. And I don't think I have the team here. So I think it was this. Yeah, this team. And despite this not being a C1 Nivelette, still pretty good. Still, still pretty good actually. Yeah, but like until I used this team, and this was actually one of the teams that I used like, almost immediately after I got Nivelette. I don't know. Maybe the Abyss back then just didn't suit it very well, but I don't know. Like I just wasn't very impressed at all back then. And now I'm like, wow, this is awesome. I guess it does really like solve. I assume it's mostly because of the elemental application checks in the second half of this Abyss, but I don't know. I'm still pretty happy about it now, because like some really tanky enemies in the game, like Rift Hounds, like the big mech, the consecrated beasts, they like I just remember them being really tanky back then, and then now like Nivelette's kind of like just he's just busting through them in that team, despite not being able to get the third stack of his third draconic stack. No, if I get a Filipino boss someday, he said it means, do you need my help with something? Shuri, are you... I'm sorry. I have to ask. Are you being serious? Like, this friend of yours, they're a good friend of yours, right? Or are they friend like the troll kind of friend? And like, are you being serious? Like that you believe them, that's truly what it means? Furina covers the one stack for you. Yes, she does. But if I had C1, then I get the third stack and I get Furina's buff, right? So it would be even more betterer if I had C1. Yeah, and I understand, like that the way that I'm talking about it is like I feel like I'm losing damage by having Furina in the team. No, like I'm not actually losing damage. I'm still doing about the same damage with Nivelette as if I didn't have a second Hydra on the team, as if it was like a rainbow team. What's a 5-star you don't have and wish you have? Odd Cookie, can I answer this with a constellation and not a character? Or like, is this question strictly character? It's decided, make a wish. Me? Why would I wish? I mean, she's cute. If I was that type of player, I probably would. But I'm sorry. I am the most opposite of that type of player that a Genshin player could be. So, yeah, no. Alright, 5-star that you don't have that you wish you... I actually have a lot of answers to this. Okay. Cookie's a better healer than Sigewinne. So I have a lot of 5-stars that I want. And that includes weapons. So, okay, I'm on my main account now. I want all of these. I want Nahida C1, C2, C3. I want the lamp. What else? No, I think I'm good on Furina. Yeah, Furina on my... well, okay, C3 would be nice. Alhaitham C3 would be nice. His weapon would be nice. Yeah, like that. These are all the stuff that I want. Okay, I already have Homa. I would love to have C3. Is this the skill? Yeah, okay, sure. C3. C3, Zhongli. C2. C2, Genuine. C2, Kazuha. No, maybe C3. Yeah, C3 Kazuha. And Jade Cutter. Yes, Jade Cutter. Let me see. Jade Cutter. What other swords do I want? I don't remember really. Okay, Ammos. Okay, no, not that. Mist Splitter. I would like to have Mist Splitter as well because I do have an icon on this account. I would love to have Clorinde's sword. I'd love to have C3 Clorinde. Yeah, a lot. I have a lot of stuff that I want. So, oh, yes. This is probably one of the most, like, one of the things that I want the most. Nivelet's weapon and C3. C1, C2, C3. Yelan, C3. C1, C2, C3. And I think that's it. What is Hu Tao C3? Is this a skill? Skill... yes, sure. C3 Hu Tao would be awesome too. Yeah. You want Sigewinne? Nope, I do not. Been playing Genshin since release and still on Amos Bow. I feel exactly the same way. While I do have it on my main account, like look at this. I have one. Where is she? I have one Amos Bow on this account and 0 on the other accounts. I have 3 accounts. So I have one Amos Bow on 3 accounts. And I have Ganyu in every account. And because I didn't have Amos Bow, I had to go crazy on the second account and third accounts back then. Like I don't think you were here at the time, but like I kind of went stupid. It was like in 4.0, I think, or 4.1, I don't remember. It was a Linny and Yelan banner. Linny was, it was the Linny release and Yelan rerun. I already had Aqua Simulacra on my third account. And I was like, okay, but on my second account, I was still running Ganyu I don't have it on this account. Okay, I was still running Ganyu on either. I had a R5 prototype Crescent. I also had an R5 Hamayumi, so I could pick between those two depending on what content I was dealing with. And despite my Ganyu on my second account having my best stats, my best artifact set, my best 4 Wander, it still wasn't good enough. Like I still hated it because prototype Crescent, I didn't get this bonus if the enemy didn't have a weak spot. Hamayumi, I couldn't use my burst, so it was awful. So yeah, I don't know. So I kind of went crazy, and I kind of thought Well, I mean, like, you know, there's 2 bows on it, so whichever one I get, it'll be okay. And then I got Aqua Simulacra, and then like when I got it, I just sat there thinking, I already have Aqua Simulacra on my 3rd account, on Ganyu on my 3rd account, and sure, it's okay, but it's still quite a bit lower. It's still quite a bit weaker than Amos, but certainly, and Aqua Simulacra on Ganyu was just as good as Prototype Crescent, and just as good as R5 Prototype Crescent and R5 Hamayumi, with their passives. So R5 Aqua Simulacra was certainly a lot comfier, right? I didn't have to, like, you know, fulfill the conditions for me to get the full damage from them. So the passive was basically like really easy to fulfill. So I thought it was okay, but then I got it and I was like, man, I already know how this feels like. I want to know what the first grade magic feels like. And then I just kind of went crazy. And so I now have R2 Aqua Simulacra on my 3rd account and the first grade magic. Hunter's Path better. In a melt team. Yeah, Hunter's Path is, I think from what I remember, better than Amos in a melt team. Sorry, no, not R5, R2. I got R2, but an R2 Aqua Simulacra that nobody's using. Because I have Yelan there on the 3rd account, but I'm certainly not gonna run Yelan on 120 ER. Right, so I just there sitting. The worst part is it's level 90. Because I did use it for some time, but I was like, well, I got Linny's bow on the 2nd account, so I'm gonna get Linny's bow on the 3rd account, and then I got Simulacra before Linny's bow, and it was just, it was awful. It was one of the worst decisions that I've made in you know, like wishing on a banner in Genshin. Not worst, but worse. First grade magic better for Friesno. Better than what? Than Amos? No. I've never really compared the damage, but just going by how it feels like. I feel like Amos freeze is the best. Please give me your weapons. I need it for my Ganyu. Dude, they're the only ones I have. Like, I just said I have 1 Amos bow across 3 accounts. Prototype bow is OG Ganyu weapon. It is, yeah, it is. Like, I use this thing for, like, if there was such a thing as durability in in weapons in Genshin, like this would have been broken, like, I don't know, 7 times already. And I probably would have had to fully repair it from 0 to 100, like, maybe, I don't know, 6, 7, 10 times, maybe even. You have an R2 Aqua sitting around? I do. Well, on my 3rd account, yeah. What do you mean that's all you have? Okay, like, but that's on my 3rd account. Yeah, okay. All right, sure. I guess on my 3rd account, yeah. And I also have an R1 Aqua sitting around on my 2nd account. It's awful, man. I feel bad. Like, I wish I had somebody to use it on. I feel bad. Like, I know RNG, like wishing RNG in Genshin doesn't work like that. Just because I got an Aqua doesn't mean someone who would, like, someone out there didn't get an Aqua. It doesn't work like that. It's not like a limited supply thing. Oh my god, why does the camera do this? Hey, we found something new to do. Play Fortnite, dude. What am I, 12? Okay, that was low. I didn't mean it like that. But just, I mean, so the Fortnite players are certainly not immature. But I think like the problem with Fortnite is like their target demographic is like it's very clearly they're like the way that they keep pushing updates, the updates that they keep pushing out, it's clearly not targeted towards like middle-aged men. Right? And that's why there are so many kids on Fortnite. Mission story is still really one of the best. Um, yeah, I agree with that though. I agree with that, but I can't say the same for their storytelling. And not by storytelling, I mean like not that it's a bad story. I mean like the way that they deliver it in the game. You know, like I'm okay, hang on. Sorry, I have my ping seems higher than usual today. Like for example, if I compare how Genshin feels like when there's like a new Archon quest or a new story quest or something, like world story quest, I compare that to, let's say, a movie of the same caliber, right? Genshin is a AAA video game, and it's earned way more than the highest grossing movies of all time at this point, and it's still going. So, of course, I'm gonna compare it to a big budget blockbuster Hollywood film. So, if I compare it to those, then yeah, no. Genshin storytelling is, I would even say it's worse than some anime. Like, and anime, while there, you know, like there are certainly some anime that are like pretty high budget, but like even the highest budget anime, they're not even like 10% of like big budget Hollywood movies. Right? And yet, despite that, they still do a really good job with storytelling. The only anime that I've seen have like not so good storytelling, and by not so good I mean like not, you know, it's not indigestible. It's still pretty good. It's just not as good as like the mainstream anime that most people come to love. Are those like really like very unknown anime that I kind of just stumble across every now and then, and I can like I watch it and then I just look at the animations and I can see that they're being so frugal about like how much time they spend on animations. Like you can just see that very little is moving like in any given frame in any given scene. Like, and it's like you only see something moving if it's like absolutely necessary. But despite those constraints, you know, because like obviously it's a time constraint, because it's a budget constraint for these like very unknown anime, very unknown, like which come from not very popular manga and comics or whatever. But despite that, I think Genshin storytelling and well, not necessarily just storytelling and storyboarding as well. Storytelling and storyboarding is like, I don't know, like B minus. Up, I'm 100% exploration. I've only done 100% in Mondstadt. Sorry, Park. I'm not sure how we're supposed to help. Resident Evil 4 remake. I heard about that last year. It was quite good. I mean, like I you know, like everybody said good things about it. I didn't play it, but everybody said good things about it, so it must have been good. Frozen. All right. Dark Deception. No, man. I mean, thanks for the suggestion, but I'm sorry. I'm very picky about games. Like, speaking of picky at games,
借りなく時
today I was just randomly on social media, on Facebook. I was searching for this, what is it called? Redemption code, like a Genshin redemption code that I just happened to see somewhere. And then I noticed, I tracked it back to a Genshin Impact Facebook group. And I found it, and apparently it doesn't work because I at least like the game tells me that I already got it. I guess I don't know.
世界の熱狂の渦にお披露目だ。シャルロットが補導します。この仕事は排除するべきですね。
But like one of the first things that I saw on my feed was just one of my classmates from high school posting just this random thing that he probably also shared from somebody else, which was, give me 13 games, 13 video games that tell me about you. 13 video games that you've played. It was something like that. 13 video games that you've played, and then I will know what you're like or what kind of person you are, or something like that. And then I saw his list, and I thought, oh, 13 games? Okay, I wonder what my 13 would be. I had trouble getting 13 games. I had trouble trying to come up with 13 video games. Like I've been playing video games for like close to 25 years now, and I had trouble getting my list to 13. I had to dig really deep. Like at some point I even added solitaire and pinball in there just to get my list to 13 games. It's nominated Game of the Year. Oh, really? Resident Evil 4 remake? Did they? So it's a remake, right? Did they change anything in the game? Like from the original? By the way, I've never played any Resident Evil games. All I know is that people love them. Also, how people get their hands on those codes. They aren't even released in public. I know, right? It's weird. Like, I don't get like how these, some of these like people on social media get these random codes. Now, I understand that some of them are from like YouTubers getting sponsored by Genshin. But like some of them just seem so, I don't know, random. This was the melt one, right? Yeah. Okay. No, nope. No way. No way in school am I using their Ganyu when I have my perfectly fine Ganyu. NBA 2K. Oh, NBA. I forgot. I completely forgot about NBA. Okay. Guess what version? Wait. Guess what version of NBA I played. I played only one NBA game ever. And so in case some of you don't know, the NBA games are not like today are not developed by the same developer as they used to be in the mid 2000s. In the mid 2000s, hang on, I forgot the developers back then. NBA games. Developers. Shoot, I don't remember. I don't remember. Okay, and I don't plan on spending 20 minutes just looking it up. So, no, not 2008. NBA 2005.
花と酒を手に景色を堪能しようとしたが、あの頃とはもう違う。
It was, man.
悠々とまた。
I didn't play it for very long. I think I only played it for like maybe a month in total. One of the first NBAs. I know. Because like I remember it was one of the first NBA games ever, like not the first, but one of the first. Because I remember a couple years before that, I hadn't gotten into like PC games yet. But a lot of my classmates were already way into PC games because they, like they were rich and all. So they could afford a PC at the time. PC at the time was not a thing that everyone had in their homes. It just wasn't necessary at the time. So if you had a computer for just strictly for gaming back then, like wow, everyone would have been jealous of you. I remember like a couple years before that, and not too long, like maybe 2 or 3 years before I was finally able to play that NBA game. My classmates started talking about like playing NBA and stuff, like what they did, like they were also way into basketball as well. So they also like really knew like the players and stuff, whereas I wasn't. So they were talking about all of that stuff like 2 or 3 years before I even got my hands on the first NBA game that I ever played. So yeah, that's how I know it was one of the first NBA games. Oh, like when you mentioned Mario Kart, now I remember there was also this sort of Mario Kart-ish, I guess if you played it, Crazy Kart, I think is what it was called. Hang on. Wow, I can't even look it up on Google. It's like there's nothing. I'm just Oh, there it is. Okay, finally found it. But the first search result was not the game that I was thinking of. It's actually Mario Kart, but because the game literally is it's basically a copy, a poor and low budget imitation of Mario Kart. But it worked exactly like Mario Kart. Just that it was clearly a very low budget version of Mario Kart. Okay, yeah, now that I think about it, I wouldn't have had to list, and to get my list to 13, I had to list the 3 GTA games that I played like separately. just to get my list to 13. I had to list GTA 5, GTA San Andreas, and Vice City like as if they were separate games. Well, okay, technically they are, but they're like basically the same game, just different main characters in different cities. Okay, now that I think about it, there. Okay, I guess there was NBA. I forgot NBA and Crazy Card. If I hadn't remembered to list down mobile games like Clash of Clans and Clash Royale, my list would have been just 11 games. Well, I guess there's also Plants vs Zombies. Plants vs Zombies. I didn't include those in the list. Plants vs Zombies and shoot, what is it called? Angry Birds. Oops. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's see. If I collect these now, I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Sure. I remember another game. What game is that? Angry Birds. Y'all remember Angry Birds? Okay, yeah. I literally just remembered because I didn't see your message like very clearly, but it was in my peripheral vision. It looked like birds, and then it reminded me of Angry Birds. Did you ever play Farmville though? No Farmville, but I played something else on Facebook games. Backyard Monsters. Oh, I just remembered now. Yeah, Backyard Monsters. I remember playing that. I also remember playing this browser gacha game. Like it was a, I'm sure you guys, some of you guys are probably familiar with these like browser Naruto based gacha games. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, but like there's like a million of them out there. Oh hey, what's up Ryan? How you doing, man? Any hardcore Grand Chase players here? I just spent 5k in that game. Grand Chase. Wait, is that the game that my cousin plays? Hang on, Grand Chase. My cousin, I mean, I don't know if he still plays it now. Because, like, the last time I saw my cousin, he was still in college. And now he's already been working for, like, quite a few years. It was quite a few years back, like, probably... Wow, that was 9 years ago? No, wait. No, that was 10 years ago! Wow. Wow. 10 years ago? Ugh. Man, I feel old. I feel old all of a sudden. It's been 10 years since then? That's crazy. Man, why do I feel old? I know, right? Like, it's kind of crazy when I start. Okay, you're only 19. All right. Well, I don't think I ever felt old when I was 19. Oh, Counter-Strike. Oh, I'm Uber Strike. Sorry, Odd Cookie. Were you saying that as a joke? The Counter-Strike? Oh man, I'm an idiot. Like, you just reminded me of Counter-Strike. Why didn't I have Counter-Strike in my list? I played the heck out of Counter-Strike. Only against bots, though. Well, not only, but like most. And even today, I still cannot beat anyone in Counter-Strike. It's so depressing. I can't beat anyone in Counter-Strike. And not even like CSGO Counter-Strike, like, no, like, I mean OG Counter-Strike. I remember I played Counter-Strike 1.0 for quite a bit. No, a little bit when I was, this was like quite a few years before I had my own computer. We went to an internet cafe, like, and I had like no idea about computers back then just yet. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't even know how to connect to a LAN game. Like, they had to keep coming over to my my station so that they could like control my mouse for me. And then I remember at some point when I got my own computer, I got a copy of Counter-Strike 1.0. And then that was the only copy of Counter-Strike that I had for a long time, for quite a few years. Until at some point, I somehow got myself a copy of 1.4, which was basically 1.0. Like, I didn't even see the difference, really. Left 4 Dead. I did kind of play Left 4 Dead, but not really. I kind of just... I tried it, and then I played it for like an hour. And then I didn't open it for years. And then I opened it again every now and then. Yeah, I don't know, like, it seemed like a fun, cool game that I wanted to get into, but like, for some reason, I just couldn't get into it. Uber Strike was the Counter-Strike browser-based alternative on Facebook games. Uber Strike, what? No, I haven't heard of that actually, but that's actually funny. I mean, also, when was this? Like the mid 2000s or like the early 2010s? I guess early 2010s would make sense that there was like browser versions of like AAA games. At the time, but like I would imagine that that's not possible back in the mid 2000s. 2000s were the MMORPG era. Quake 3 was also good. I never got to play Quake 3 actually. In fact, I actually did not know about Quake 3 back then. I only actually learned about Quake 3 a couple of years ago. If you played old Counter-Strike, you might have played Half-Life. I did play Half-Life, but I was too stupid to play it. I was too stupid to actually get through the campaign. So now I don't remember anymore exactly where I couldn't get through. But I remember playing the story mode or campaign, whatever it was called. And at some point, somewhere in the building that I don't even remember, because like I was a kid. I think I was like 7. Let me think. No, not 7. 2004, 12. Okay, so I was 12, 13, maybe 13. Yeah, 13, 14 years old. At this point. And I've said this once. I've said this 100 times on stream. I'm like stupid. Like actually, I'm not, and it's not a joke. Stupid. I actually think I'm stupider than the human average. Like really, like mentally slower. So, 12-year-old me, while maybe old enough to understand a 12-year-old conversation, but was only smart enough to understand maybe 9-year-old concepts. So I had no idea what was going on, like in Half-Life. So I couldn't progress after like what was next of that building thing. I was just trapped in the building. So I spent hours and hours and hours walking around the building, inside the building. I just couldn't figure it out. So I don't know. I closed it, and then like a couple of weeks later, I opened it again. I did like the couple of things in the campaign thing, and then I ended up there, and I didn't know again, and then I closed it, and in a couple of weeks again, I did the same thing, and I would just like roam around for hours. 23 hours from now. Okay, I don't need to condense any more resin. My ping's high again. keep forgetting that there's like a on PC now. There's a like they remember the accounts that you're logged into. Half-Life weapons are cool. I do remember their weapons were pretty cool. Uh, yeah, I remember some of those. Some of the Half-Life weapons were pretty cool. I can't imagine, and occasionally nowadays, whenever like Half-Life is talked about and there's like B-roll of Half-Life footage playing in the background, I can't help but think, wow, it would have been awesome to play a LAN game in Half-Life. Like crazy. Probably would have gotten a 0 in like a proper LAN game with a bunch of people. But I think it would have been fun. Imagine like Counter-Strike, but then in Counter-Strike there's only one way to die, and it's with bullets or maybe a grenade, I guess. But Half-Life, there were like those like beetle things, like the bug things. There was like the one-shot weapon that you could charge up, but if you charge it up for too long, that you yourself get hurt by it. Like it was nuts, man. Those weapons are crazy. I think the only console I experienced was DVD player with a built-in emulator, a CD with old games. That was 95% of my console experience. I did have a PlayStation 1, like not the mini, but like the big one. But I only had one game that I could play on it. And it was the one game that my dad got for free. I didn't know anything about gaming back then yet. I think at this point I was maybe 9 years old. Yeah, 8 or 9 years old. I had no idea about gaming. I had no idea about consoles, whatever. All I knew is that I needed to put a CD in. I needed to put a CD in, and then I could play this game. It was a game called Medieval. Hang on. I don't know if I could, let me see if I could look this up. There. Medieval game.
拙者と故郷のつながりはもうこの刀のみでござる。
That's it. Yep, that's literally it. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Oh my god, what is this? What is this resolution? Oh, okay, this has got to be an emulator. If they somehow got a screenshot at this resolution. PSP, no. I played it on a PlayStation 1. Medieval 2? Was it 2 that I played? I don't remember. I've never seen this. Like, this part of the game. So, in the same exact way that I couldn't get any further in Half-Life, I was the same exact way in Medieval. Like, I spent hours playing on this, playing on my PS1, just trying to figure out, like, so the tutorial part of it, you know, where it taught you, like, you had to get through, like, the tutorial part, right? But it was also part of the game. And then after the tutorial, I was like, okay, now what? Looks like a DS game. And at the time, I thought it was pretty creepy. Like, the music was pretty creepy. I do not remember getting to this part of the game. Back then, that graphics was awesome. Yeah, I agree. I know. I'm only gonna be here once, but I'm struggling through summer school, and I might miss most of your streams. Oh, It's alright, Jelly. It's alright. Hey, thank you for stopping by, man. We still got a bunch of stuff to do today. I still gotta do Sigewinne's story quest. I still gotta take a look at Sigewinne's kit, actually. I haven't done that yet. Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah, I do not remember getting to this point in the game at all. And like I just stopped at the very beginning because I was too stupid to understand what I was supposed to do. Another problem that I had was why I only had one game was like the medieval. Like my dad, they gave it away for free with the PS1 when my dad bought it for me.
手元に葉があるのなら拙者が
And
草笛で一曲奏でよ
I'm pretty sure my dad bought it somewhere near the United States or maybe in the United States at the time because I had to plug it in through a like this huge adapter, and I assume it was like an adapter, like it had the same plug as like the plugs that we use here in the Philippines, but at least from my understanding, like they use like a different like power standard over there for wall outlets in the US than here. Yeah, and so the city I live in, the city I grew up in was basically like just I don't know, maybe 3 steps from being backwater countryside. It was a city, yeah, but it was like the most low-tech city at the time. So nobody in my city was selling original PlayStation games, and pirated PlayStation games were, they just weren't very reliable at the time. They either weren't very reliable or they just flat out didn't exist. Or, yeah, or like they're like somehow like the consoles at the time were just good at detecting non-official games.
行こう
部内席光り
風の雲の行くごと
輝くがいいシャルロットがほとん
And the closest city, the closest big city that probably had that probably had stores selling official like PS games at the time were 4 hours away from my city, and my mom and dad were not willing to spend 4 hours, 4 hours with me just to buy a game when I didn't even know what I wanted to buy. We played Marvel vs. Capcom, my cousin PS1. We were just smashing buttons because we were kids, and then we even used dancing mat for a Dance Revolution as a controller for fighting game. You had a dancing mat? I've never known anyone that had a dancing mat for Dance Revolution. Wow. I do remember those days. Just mashing buttons on the controller until you win in a fighting game. The only time I ever played fighting games on a console though were at my friend's place. He had a PS1 Mini, and I remember he always got mad at me for mashing buttons. Because, well, he was one of those smarter kids. Like, not the smartest, but like he wasn't as dumb as me. Is what I'm trying to say. He wasn't as stupid as me. So he actually was a kid who wanted to take care of his stuff. So he always got mad at me for mashing buttons in a fighting game. He didn't even care if I still lost anyway. He just wanted me to stop mashing buttons. And to make it even easier, we put the controller in our shirts so that our fingers would just slide between the buttons. Oh, why did you retract all your messages, Jelly? All right. Thanks for stopping by, Jelly. Take care, man. Good luck in your good luck with summer school.
みんながそばにいてくれるわ。
話が通じないなら叩くも。
I missed.
命を捨てに
お触り禁止。
誰でどうだ。
難攻不落。全力攻撃だ。燃えろ。
師匠の技を食らいなさい。
久々の獲物だ。
ここまでだ。
部外者禁止。風雪の縮図。
My cousin had a dance mat too.
久々の獲物だ。
ここまでだ。
And the only reason why I even know about these dance mats is like because they're often referenced in pop culture. I don't know them like personally. But man, must have been cool to get to experience all of that instead of just hearing about it. You can play those PS games on your phone with an emulator, and it runs well as long as your phone is a mid-range phone. I wonder if they're... I'm pretty sure you can also find them on PC as well nowadays. But I remember playing this game, and I remember I've talked about this on stream before. It was a PC game. It was called Carnivores 2. It was one of those like more obscure titles. Very definitely not AAA. But like there was little in the way of bad games back then. Like most video games back then, like nobody could make a video game if they didn't have any budget. Now there's like a billion video games out there. Literally anyone could make a video game nowadays. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I remember a couple of months ago, I remember finally deciding to take the time to look it up. And I actually found this website. Now, like, it didn't look sketchy. In fact, it actually looked like it was straight out of the mid-2000s. So, I'm not sure. I still can't say that the website was reliable, but it seemed to be one of those, like, enthusiast emulator websites. And I found a copy. I didn't download it yet, but I was just happy to find one somewhere on the internet. And I even found this other game that me and my little brother really like played a lot when I was a kid. The game was called Rocks, and it was basically it was more like a puzzle game, but it was pretty cool for the time, despite being like a very obscure, probably very low budget video game at the time. Phones are very capable nowadays. That is absolutely true. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah, phones are very, very capable nowadays. Oh, I'm an idiot. Why did I claim my rewards? Let me think. Okay, today, tomorrow. Oh no. Oh, let me see. No, okay. I can only claim one more day of event rewards as daily commissions.
だからこそこの職位にいる。
Okay, yeah, screw it. Alright, I'm doing it on this account. But before that, let's take a look at what Sigewinne can do. Yeah, phones are very capable nowadays. Like, for example, in the mid 2010s, you had to have like the most high end of phones at the time to play to play AAA games, and no mid-range phone could play it. Like, basically, it was I don't think there were even mid-range phones at the time. It was just the most expensive high-end phones, some cheaper high-end phones. Like, no, not cheaper, not cheap, but like slightly less expensive high-end phones, and then everything else was just budget. But nowadays, even a mid-range phone can play AAA games. Like, granted, you might have to turn down the settings a little bit, but you don't have to turn them all the way down. And for many budget mid-range phones, now not even like proper mid-range phones, but like budget mid-range phones, you can play them play AAA games on your phones nowadays, on your budget mid-range phones nowadays. And the settings don't have to be turned all the way down, but you have to turn them down, but not all the way down. And the only difference that you're gonna feel between your budget mid-range phone and your most expensive high-end phones nowadays is just battery life, because the high-end phones just have really high-end chipsets on them that they can handle much heavier graphical loads. So running a AAA game on it doesn't tank the battery as much as it does the budget mid-range phones, and that's really the only difference nowadays. But as for running the game, no, like, yeah, it's pretty crazy. I just hate that free-to-play changed the gaming landscape so much, though it is what it is. Back then, F2P and battle passes weren't a thing. Well, I mean, so what's funny though is I played Ragnarok online in 2002, or was it 2003? What year was I in grade 4? So grade 4, let me see, 95, 96, 97, 98, 90s, 95, 96, 97, 98, 9, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. So yeah, that would have been 2003 maybe, yeah. That would have been 2003. I played Ragnarok online, and you couldn't play it. Like, you literally had to buy playtime. Like, you had to buy like this card. Depending on how much what kind of card you bought, it would, you know, the price would be different, but the card would be like the number of hours that you could play it. Like, I remember this one of the cards that my friends always bought were the $2 ones, where it gave you 24 hours of playtime, but that 24 hours of playtime would expire in 1 week. So if you couldn't use up all 24 hours after 1 week, it would just disappear. So as for me, I always bought the $1 card, which was a total of 8 hours, I think it was 8 hours, and it would expire in 3 days. Wait, was it 3 days? Hang on. I'm sure there's like... Oh, wait, there it is. Found it. Okay, how do I make this bigger? It's one of those like things where like I can't watch it. I can't look at it without downloading the image. Hang on. 50s. Okay, so apparently they're not there. The number of hours is not there. Oh, wait, there it is. The 10 one. 1 hour? Jeez. Yeah, I remember I always bought this one. Flife wasn't the same though. Like the Flife was free to play. But it was also very pay to win. Like free to play, but pay to win. Like you could start the game, okay, like technically yes, pay to win, but you still had to level up your character, which took a really long time. You know, just as, you know, like I guess typical MMORPG in the 2000s, right? Like you had to spend thousands of hours to get to max level. But things would be a lot easier if you had thousands of dollars to spend also. So it was technically free to play, but also pay to win. Ragnarok and Flife are on mobile now, but not like OG Ragnarok and Flife on PC in their original habitat. They're very different versions than the OG ones. Flife though, they have this thing called Flife Universe now, and it is basically what Flife was when it like I guess in its heyday, in its peak, but browser based. Like full-on browser based. And it kind of makes sense because it's, you know, it's not very, it was graphically intensive for the mid 2000s but not today. So very understandable that it would run on a browser. Snapdragon is now on the laptop market. They sell chipsets for laptops which are capable too. Yeah, it still remains to be seen, but so far it's looking good. And it's first gen, right? It's the first generation of these products out there, and it's looking so good already. And do you know who we have to thank for that? Do you know, like, I'm sure, I don't know if you guys know who we have to thank for this finally happening. Now, granted, laptops have already gotten pretty decent. You know, even before Qualcomm stepped in, even before ARM chipsets got into the Windows, it got into the PC space. We have Apple to thank for that. Apple did everyone a solid when they released the M1 MacBooks. Man, everyone was like, an ARM SoC can be this powerful? And then here you go, Qualcomm stepping in. Yeah, they did everyone a solid. I'm so happy that Apple did that, because now okay, I am so excited for future laptops. Now granted, the laptop that I have right now, I think it is absolutely awesome. It is absolutely awesome. I can, like, it has an average battery life of maybe 4 to 5 hours if I'm just doing browser stuff on it. Like if I'm not watching a video on it the whole time. If I'm just, let's say, no, yeah, like I guess maybe like including a little bit of watching videos on it, watching a little bit of a YouTube on it, and maybe watching a movie, like locally saved, of course. Brand new, it had about like a 4 to 5 hour battery life, which was way longer than any laptop I've ever had. Like all the laptops I've ever had have really only had like maybe an hour battery life, and if I played even the most, even the lowest, no, the least graphically intensive games on it, like Plants vs Zombies on battery, I would probably have like half an hour. I would have like half an hour to play Plants vs Zombies on all the laptops I've ever owned. The one I have now could probably play a game like that for like 3 hours, and I'm so happy already. But with ARM chips on laptops, that could easily go into the 10 hours, and I'm so excited. And because there's systems on the chip, that means laptops are gonna get quieter, they're gonna get thinner, and they're gonna get cooler, like, you know, temperature wise. And I don't know, like, it's, and they're gonna get lighter, of course, right? They're gonna get quieter, thinner, cooler, and lighter, and it's awesome. I am so excited for the laptop space for over the next like 5 to 10 years. Anyway, on to Sigewinne. Sigewinne is certainly adorable. I love how that the tail jiggles. Like, look at that. Oh, it's not actually a ball. It's just her tail that's curled up. Man, Hoyo certainly knows how to make things jiggle, don't they? And, you know, I mean that jokingly, but I also mean that seriously. Like, I remember, like, one of the main reasons why I want to have Yoimiya is, okay, obviously, number one, the combat stuff, like, really good, easy to use, very chill, no, not easy to use, but, like, chill to use single target pyro DPS. But also, like, when I walk on Yoimiya, like, I love how her hair just jiggles. Like, it's so, like, I can't explain it. It's so, like, I don't know, I just really like looking at it. And in the same way, like, look at how her pigtails jiggle, right? Like, it's adorable, I guess. And the ears, does she have human ears? They covered it up. Did they put human ears in there? I want to see. What's laggy, Dodos? How do I look inside your head? I can't. Darn it. All right. The screen was laggy. No, I'm not losing any frames. Must have been your device. Maybe it got hot watching for too long. Who knows? DZZ has too much jiggle compared to Genshin. Even inanimate objects jiggles. Really? I don't think I'm gonna enjoy that then. Yeah. I don't know why, but like like Genshin just strikes the perfect balance for me of like stuff like that, you know. Stuff that men want. And like, it's just, again, going back to this thing that I always say. This thing that I always say that is like about skirt length. Like, a skirt needs to be short enough to be interesting, but long enough to stay interesting. And that's, like, so far, Genshin just strikes a perfect balance of that for me. Okay. He is certainly a bow user. I can't help but, like, without her bow, like, for some reason, I knew she was a bow user already, obviously from the announcements and stuff, and obviously her weapon on the banner is a bow. But like, when I was about to click my left mouse button, my left click, when I was about to hit left click, I was expecting like catalyst attacks. I don't know why. She just looks like a catalyst user to me. Like a Nahida. Yeah, just like a Nahida. She looks like a Nahida to me. Bow user, jeez. Throws a pill. Shoots a okay. Shoots an arrow. Shoots a pill. Throws a pill. What is this? What is this? Is this even gonna be useful? I mean, like, maybe in the overworld, like, if you just need to apply some hydro to something. And the arrow, the normal charge stack itself is just a normal arrow. Just a hydro arrow. I think the leak that she's a 4-star is true. They changed their mind, decided to make her a 5-star. Really? I remember hearing some people talk about that. I wonder why they changed their minds though. Right? Because like Sigewinne's kit is very much not a 5-star kit. It really isn't. It seems like a very like I don't know, so I'm sure some of you have noticed that a lot of our 4-stars have very niche kits. And it's the 5-stars that are so our 5-stars are also kind of niche, but like they're typically niche that but you can use them in more than one team. In more than one team archetype. Like, for example, a character like Chevrus, literally only made for overload teams. A character like, like Toma. So, technically, you can use them in more than one team nowadays, but that's it. Anywhere outside of that, he's just completely unusable, right? So, you can use him in Virgin, and recently he's been usable in a Clorinde team, an overload Clorinde team, and one or two other teams. But other than that, and even then, like some of those teams are pretty copium, and outside of those teams, just absolutely useless. Whereas Sigewinne is sort of in the same boat, where she's really only usable in some teams. And it's really only the fact that she's Hydro that she's kind of usable in some of her less usable teams. So, I don't know. Yeah, her kit very much screams 4-star to me. So her tier list put on B or C tier 5-star. And she's a standard 5-star too. That's... Well, we know... We know when we're seeing... we know what banner we're seeing Sigewinne on next time. She's really underwhelming, and people just coping her kit, but they can't avoid the truth. Yeah, I think we're probably gonna get one more Sigewinne rerun at some point, or Sigewinne's gonna be joining the list, joining the gang, the